Konnichiwa and Kusasangpola. I am Pratima Pradhan from Bhutan Computer Incident Response Team, and I am a Deputy Chief ICT Officer with the team, working for past 4 years since 2020. And I'm here with my co-presenter and mentor, Mr. Vilius. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Vilius from Vilnius, NRD Cybersecurity company. We have been involved with Bhutan for almost 10 years now. So I'm going to contribute a little bit to the story of Bhutan National CIRT.
Thank you. Before I begin the presentation, first and foremost, I would like to thank the first program committee for accepting my presentation, our presentation, and making it happen for me to be here. And secondly, would like to thank NRD Cybersecurity and Vilius for generous support in sponsoring my travel and stay and making it happen. I'm so excited and elated to be in the first conference. So thank you. Also, how many of you here know Bhutan, or have you been to Bhutan? For those who doesn't know about Bhutan, Bhutan is a small landlocked country squeezed between China and India. And we have barely a population of 700,000. And similar to our country size, but BtCIRT, Bhutan Computer Incident Response Team, is a small team when it started, and it was founded in the year 2016 by our government's executive order with a mandate to serve as the primary and a national body for organizing cybersecurity efforts and acting as a central contact for all cybersecurity issues. When we started, it was just a team of 5 back in 2016. Since last year, the team has grown to 10 officials. When it started, it was just a unit under an infrastructure division. Now it's a full-fledged cybersecurity division. And the genesis of BtCIRT, if you can explain.
So I learned about Bhutan in 2015 when I saw that there is an international tender to assist for consultancy for Bhutan. And only recently I started to think, okay, but why there was this tender? So who initiated, in whose brains it started, and when? So it seems it started in 2011, in 2012, so 4, 5, 6 years before the inception, when the seed was planted by ITU visit and doing initial assessment of what would be the national CIRT. Are there conditions right? Can the seed be planted? So it's a thought for you. What you plant now in your initiatives, in cyber initiatives, what do you expect them to grow in 5, 6 years? Typically, what we tend to think that, okay, we plant a seed and maybe in 6 months we have a fruit. So here for Bhutan, it took 5 years to operationalize the team.
Yes. So since the operationalization, the primary service that we were mandated to perform was as an instant responder. And after that, it was a proactive role as a service provider for the entire country. And when it comes to incident response, since 2016 and up until now, we have handled around 1,000 plus cyber incidents. The number is 1,000 because most of the incidents are not still reported. But however, from the numbers that are reported, the most incidents that we handle are detected vulnerabilities. It is, for a developing country, it's always difficult to patch the vulnerabilities. So that's where we have quite a huge number. And then followed by phishing, scams, ransomware. We do get such incident once in a while. And others like malware intrusion, malware infections and intrusions as well. For BtCIRT, the constituents are all national agencies and government agencies and agencies, multinational or international agencies which are residing in the country. And we proactively also monitor the government network government data center, and education networks. The second service that BtCIRT had put effort on is assessing the vulnerability assessment for government systems. When we started, the vulnerability assessment was not that rigorous. And then we found out that there was lots of vulnerability assessment requirement. For example, for the government data center, it was established only in 2017. Before that, the systems were just developed and it was just installed, not knowing what are the vulnerabilities. Now we have this capability and we provide security assessment so that when it is in the production, they are at least secure. So now the number has increased, which means that we do lots of vulnerability assessment, provide that service. And another big, large effort was put in place was on creating cybersecurity awareness. Since the beginning, the team had been creating awareness going to, Bhutan is a small country and it is landlocked, and we have like around 20 districts. So the team managed to go around to all the districts creating, conducting the cyber hygiene workshop. And after like 3 to 4 years, we also started creating lots of content, animations, comics in our language, so that we don't miss the illiterate and then the far-flung people, the one that's not been reached. Since 2021, we have started the initiative to observe the National Cybersecurity Week. This year we will be observing in October, and we are hoping that like the past 3 years, we'll have one successful one. And awareness to colleges and especially the monk bodies also started, because monastic bodies, they don't learn English, but then they do use lots of ICT devices. So it is one of the critical aspect of creating more awareness to them.
So here, if you could go back, so Pratima mentioned that it's a small country. So you think from the east to the west, how long it would take for you to travel? In the capital, in Thimphu, at that time, when we had a project, there were no IT university or IT, not even cybersecurity. So the closest school and going to the other end of the country takes more than 1 day by car. So even if the distance is small, but it's mountainous, it's very complicated. Sometimes it's easier to go outside to India, drive and come back to the country to reach your relatives or the regions you come from. So covering the country, it takes journeys.
Yeah, thank you. The next effort was on the international cooperation, and that was one of the biggest effort that our country made. And since 2016, we became a full-fledged CIRT, and by 2017, we were able to become a member to FIRST, and then to BtCIRT. And in 2022, again, we started the work on to become a member to GFC. And the same year, we were able to achieve the membership to CAN. So these are our initiatives so that we grow our capacity as well as we get exposed to the international landscape in cybersecurity.
What is interesting, if you would go to BtCIRT website and you look at the mandate of the team, which was issued or approved by the government, by Prime Minister of the country in 2017, I think, it clearly states direction of the country to be connected internationally in associations. So strategically, country decided that their success in cybersecurity gonna rely on partnerships, clearly specified, but BtCIRT is dedicated the team to partner with our organizations, and we are expected to partner with other organizations. So that's a direction shown by the government saying that we're a tiny country. Then we went there in Thimphu, we found only 2 shops selling computers. That means how many cybersecurity people or knowledge you can find in the country? Not too much. So this decision to rely and be part and visible in international organizations and be friendly with international organizations, I believe played a big role for where BtCIRT is now.
Along with those three initiatives or the services that we provide, instant response, awareness, vulnerability assessment, other cybersecurity monitoring aspects, some of our current projects is, because of the mandate, we have a bigger mandate, not just as a team responding to incident, but we also have to act as a cybersecurity agency. And in our hand, we are developing the national cybersecurity strategy. We are also starting initiative to come up with a strategy to protect the critical information infrastructures of Bhutan. We are also planning to form a governmental security operations center. A lot of effort to enhance and make it robust cybersecurity legislation for the country, and also for cross-border initiatives. And international cooperation, as my previous slide said, we are still working towards it, because collaboration is the main way to combat any kind of cyber threats and then to become more resilient. And cybersecurity awareness and education is one non-stop effort that we keep on putting towards every year.
What's interesting, what comes from the history of Bhutanese, what I learned about digital history, for those who come from UK, maybe you have some idea what .bt stands for. .bt now belongs to Bhutan, whom it might belong before, and what Bhutanese people might needed to fight for to get it, to find international friends who would assist to take from private sector .bt to the country, and then manage the DNS records, connecting the satellite links in, because it was hosted even outside the country, TLD. So Bhutan has a spirit of survivors and making it work, making it right. That's what we found working with Bhutanese people.
Okay. All of these achievements, especially on getting matured as a team from team of 5 to now 10, and then with lots of capability development, a lot of these efforts, a lot of this achievement is actually attributed to our collaborative approaches. So my next slides, it talks about the journey that we had an opportunity to be a recipient of lots of support from international organizations, International Telecommunication Union, ITU being one of the collaborating partners for us. Since 2012, they had provided us a report on readiness assessment, and that's how our BtCIRT formed, like Vilius said. And in 2018, they also provided some support on developing cybersecurity strategy. You can see that since 2018, we have been, okay, it's there, sorry. So since 2018, we have been putting effort to come up with a national cyber strategy, but till now, we are not able to. And I have, again, in my next slide, the whole journey. Right now, the status is that we have completed the draft and we are awaiting for the approval. But then the effort, it started back from 2018. The ITU also helped us in conducting many workshops in the country, in tabletop exercise. We were also able to participate in global cyber drill. They also helped us conduct a joint cyber drill for our critical operators. In 2023 last year, we are able to have a child online protection guideline for the country, and they also conducted a CERT maturity assessment. So, and also along with that, with the Cyber for Good program, we also were beneficiary to receive effort from ITU cybersecurity consultants such as Welch Manklin. We got cybersecurity workshops, especially on CERT and CII, and also in governance, risks, and compliance workshop. So those were one of the major success in the country. BtCIRT, we got 1.5 years of free license, and it helped us in in responding to incident and also understanding our threat landscape. ImmuniWave is a dark web monitoring. However, we couldn't use much of that. Next is the World Bank, and World Bank history, it goes back from 2015 because the financial support was from the World Bank when BtCIRT formed. They started supporting us from the country's overall cybersecurity maturity assessment, funded us for the establishment, and in 2022, again through the Cybersecurity Multi-Donor Trust Fund, we received support, advisory support for the development of National Cybersecurity Strategy. Like I said in a previous slide, we started from 2018, and then the COVID happened. Lots of efforts were like lost in between. And then again in 2022, it got revived. We got the support from World Bank, and then World Bank provided NRD to support us in drafting the National Cybersecurity Strategy, and then also the methodology for our country to identify the CIIs, and also a roadmap to protect them. World Bank also helped us in conducting a gap assessment of our only ICT legislation. It's called ICM Act. And we have further advisory support from them. And World Bank actually introduced us to NRD, and then it's of the history which.
Yeah, so as the time is short, so some highlights. I remember my colleagues probably here in the room, they saw that there's a tender floated in on Bhutan. So we Googled where Bhutan is because we knew about the happiest country in the world, but then we learned that there's a princess, the beautiful one, and there's a nice story of the country. However, there's no connecting flights even to go there. So it's kind of looking where it is, how to get there. And then we went for a pre-bid meeting, then we looked at what it is. It seems that the ripe place, or the seed planted a few years ago, it seems that the willingness is there. The same as willingness for national cybersecurity strategy to happen, and they just are hungry for the knowledge. And I think that's a recipe for everybody, even small countries, small nations. But if you understand why you need and what you need, for example, in the tenders, there could be written different things, and what we requested were quite smart things. So us as a consultants replying to RFP and then coming and delivering that was very aligned and adjusted. Then we finished the project. The team now changed completely. So it's a natural process that people change, and Pratima never saw the genesis of the CIRT, but the work continues further on, and the benefit of small countries, if you are from small country, but probably know everyone, and the decision making takes faster, just with less people. The same person may be responsible for 3 areas and not so much in depth, and that's a challenge.
So thank you. It's full support from the NRD beyond the contract. It is.
So about this conference, so the last time I was in Bhutan, I said, Pratima, I think that if you can make it work for your country, there's no excuse for other countries not to work. Please submit the talk. So Pratima wrote a talk and put me as a co-author. I said, why did you put me as a co-author? She said, I'm not sure if I'll get funding. So go or talk. I said, okay, let's see. If you accept it, you're gonna be covered the fee, and then we'll figure it out. Somebody will pay for you. That's the spirit, what I believe our community is working on, supporting each other, talking, learning, and then making it work, even for small places.
Thank you. Thank you, Vilius. Yes. With all the generous support from NRD and then other ITU consultants, we have very strong relationship with EPNIC, especially Adley here. Since 2017, we have conducted, like for BtCIRT, it is a mandate that every year we conduct at least 2 technical workshops, along with all the site cybersecurity awareness workshops. And so far, we have conducted various workshops on network security, application, secure coding, open source security, Linux forensics, the list goes on. Just back in month of May, we had a successful open source firewall and open source intrusion detection tool workshop conducted by Adley, and it was a grand success. They have also helped us in connecting to the APNIC HoneyNet project, where we get lots of feeds and understanding of our country's scenario. They have helped us in conducting Cyber Bootcamp as a in-kind support, and in also for the Cybersecurity Week in 2021 and 2023, when we have this Cybersecurity Week, we conduct a conference or a seminar, 2 or 3 workshops, and open awareness. So those are things that we do. Along with APNIC, we also have a close relation with the Asia Pacific telecommunity through the Young Professional and Students Program. We have been able to get a sponsorship to conduct Cyber Bootcamp in 2022 and capture the flag challenges for the colleges in 2023. JICA is again one of our support. Last year we had, they provided a security examination sponsorship, and then all of us, 10 of us from the team, were successfully able to achieve the CompTIA Security Plus certification, and yeah, that was my first certification of cybersecurity. Recently, there was also knowledge co-creation program, and 2 of our team were able to come all the way from Bhutan to Tokyo and get some intensive cyber defense workshop. Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade is also one of our providers to enhance our capacity. Cyber Bootcamp in 2023, 2 of our participants, colleagues went to attend the bootcamp. They also provide like long-term support, Masters in Cybersecurity. In Bhutan, we have around 4 to 5 of us who have completed Master of Cybersecurity, and all through the generous support from the Australian government. Again, Singapore is another development aspect that we look forward. Temasek Foundation, along with Nanyang Polytechnic, they provided us support in conducting cybersecurity training for leaders in January 2022, and advanced penetration testing workshop for at least 20 ICT officers in September 2022. And we are looking forward for more collaborations. Along with that, regionally, we also have relationship with Bangladesh, eGov CIRT, Sri Lanka CIRT. Bangladesh CIRT was the one who actually sponsored us to get membership to FIRST. Sri Lanka CIRT helped us in our initial days to conduct a cybersecurity workshop. And we are still looking forward for more collaborative approach, not just this 2 CIRT, but all our neighboring countries. And not just that, along with the threat providers, we have been receiving the threat feeds from Shadow Server and Team Cambry. I think Team Cambry may not remember, but they also provided us funding support to observe the first ever National Cybersecurity Week of Bhutan. And ISOC also provided us support. Shrestha IT is one of the Indian cybersecurity firm, and they provided us support in conducting National Cybersecurity Week in 2023, Swapnil. All of this development was successful with international partners, but then it was our local partners, a strong collaboration and trusting approach that helped us have these successful events. So we closely work with our telecom, Bhutan Telecom is a telecom provider. We have only 2 telecom providers. We work closely with them. We work closely with our Royal Bhutan Police and financial institutions, regulators, academia, and also the infrastructure. The Thimphu Tech Park and DHR are other part of the board of the government, and then we really work closely together. So those are all the efforts.
So I believe that time is up. Do you have some questions for you? So the next slide, I think, talks about challenges, but we all have challenges. And naturally, what I see in Bhutan now, most of the cybersecurity understanding people live to one nice place, sunny in Australia, and they need just to go through it develop new initiatives for finishing high schoolers to do civil service in cybersecurity and another experimentation. So as everyone is challenged, but I think here it's a time to applaud on the success of Bhutan, making it work for tiny nation, remote nation, based on collaboration and partnerships, what we are here all aspired to work together to make cybersecurity right for our own environments. So that's my.
Thank you.
We have about 8 minutes for questions, so I would encourage the audience, if you have any questions, please do walk up to the crowd mics and feel free to ask your questions. We do have some time.
I'm just wondering, how do you involve the private companies in Bhutan when you're building your new CERT?
During the formation of the CERT, I'm not sure about that journey, but now for any kind of awareness activities or also during the observation of Cybersecurity Week, we always involve our private sector. In fact, just last month, we had 2 initiatives on cybersecurity awareness organized by our private firms. So we are actually really starting more collaborative approach, and they are taking ahead from the public sector. So it's actually a good journey. So that's how we involve them.
Cool.
My experience, the last time I went to Bhutan a few months ago, we have a meeting. So I expected to meet BtCIRT team to discuss what are the national questions. And in the room is everyone. And when I come to Pratima, I say, is it okay with everyone? Because we kind of, maybe it's sensitive, but the societies, they're quite open and inclusive. It's a probably cultural thing which helps them to succeed in such environments, in my opinion.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Aisha Ahmed from National Cybersecurity Agency in Qatar. And as you know, Qatar also is a small country. So my question is regarding the incident response capacity building. So what is your strategy in that? Do you see that it's best to build the incident response team within Bhutan CIRT, or your target state is to have an incident response team within each government entity in Bhutan? And if this is the approach, how long do you think it's gonna take?
So at least what I observed at the moment, so Central Bank, Bank of Bhutan, they are thinking about sectorial capability as well. In the trainings, they bring people from the banks. Unfortunately, the last time I was doing the training there, said all our security understanding people left for Australia. So now we're just revamping new people from zero and building that internal knowledge. So that's a challenge. It's trying to be spread and including the responsibilities. For all small countries, the centralization is sometimes seems to be solution to make. So that's what the transformation Bhutan. So for BtCIRT, the environment is changing. It used to be under one agency, now it's GovTech, which united. So they took all IT specialists into one place, and organizations don't have even IT specialists, not about cybersecurity. So how to split the responsibilities, that's an ongoing challenge was being handled at the moment, and how to build it, how to build and how to make it work.
And I think as well that the challenge of this is that the coverage, even if it's a small country, the coverage of the incident response will go to so deep to the end users. So it's also a challenge in that case.
Yes.
Thank you.
So centralization, we are actually in the verge of changing all our landscape. So I think the benefit of being small is that if that doesn't work, then we will pivot again to another approach. So that's what's happening. So like I said, it's right now centralized. So that's the thing. Maybe the next question. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Demetria McKinney, and I'm from the Bahamas. And like you, we just started establishing a new small CERT. And I noticed that one of your challenges, I have two questions really, is that slow development of policies and strategies. How do you influence policy makers and decision makers from where you are to then expedite because certainly you would need those policies to engage with your stakeholders and constituents. What's your strategy for engaging with decision and policy makers to further your objective? That's my question one. And then question two, congratulations, by the way, but this is hard work. And how do you, and your team, maintain your mental wellness through these processes? Thank you.
Thank you. When it comes to the strategy, we don't know any kind of strategy. What we have been doing so far is trying to involve as many people for this workshop, like the one I said before in my slide, governance, risks, and compliance workshop. That was really successful. We invited all the CEOs, policymakers, management leaders, and it went down to like media officials. So that's how we do. And now our government, they understand, like we don't really have to go like, what are the threat that if you don't do such and such policies, what will happen? They do understand, but the only problem is that we have like limited resource, limited time, limited people. And it takes little time to get approval. So that's why our strategy, and in the strategy, we are also working towards how to enhance the cybersecurity legislation and how to come up with the policies for data protection. And we're also looking at the vulnerability disclosures. So those are in line. And your next question is how to manage the mental stress. Is that okay? It's the previous talk, I could relate a lot to the talk. So it's like, you can understand it. Sometimes it gets very personal when it comes to like speaking from a personal experience. Those are there. Like for me, sometimes very personal thought is that, you know, when I sleep, it's sometimes like, because we don't have that capability, like what if our entire country gets hacked? So those are some kind of stress that we go bed to.
Listening to your story has been very inspirational, and congratulations. Lawrence here from the First Africa Regional Liaison Team. My question was on how do you have challenges building trust with your constituencies? And if you have had or are having some such challenges, what are some practical strategies you have used to build that trust with your stakeholders? Thank you.
Building trust was not that problematic, but then we did face a lot of issues when we provided vulnerability assessment report. Our team, since beginning, only in 2023, we are like 10, but we were just 5 of us. And what we do was run the vulnerability against some tools, I mean, their IP address or asset, and give the report. And what they expected was to get fixed by us. So that was one of the challenges, to making them understand what is their responsibility when it comes to secure their system. So those are one. Other than that, we build trust. It's just that they like our first multi-role of BtCIRT was one of the challenge. They thought that we do the assessment, we find all the vulnerabilities or issues, flaws, and we fix that. So they thought that everything needs to be conducted or provided by BtCIRT. Now the mindset is changing a little bit, and we are hoping that we have more collaborative and then distributed roles and responsibility. Yeah.
And just to add probably what I see for Africa, so another team that we worked with, a Malawi team, I think there's some similarities of success being multi-stakeholder involvement on the management level, talking through all these 5 years of when it's still not there, or maybe it's there, but you talk and promote what is the role of a team, and suddenly it boosts up and supports each other because people understand what to expect from the team. So that's a thing what works. I even think in Bahamas it as well is progressing well by having this multi-stakeholder discussions and advocating what is the role of a CIRT.